Hi, year 10. So here we're looking at some trigonomic ratios. You'll probably forget the words trigonomic ratios after a while and just start using sine, cos, and tan. So we may see them quite often on a calculator, sine, cos, and tan. You probably came across them last year, but let's go over it again. Okay, so in right angle triangles, I'm going to look at these triangles here, 1, 2, and 3. I've kept this length, the bottom length, the same for each one. But I've increased this length, this side, gets bigger and gets bigger. Now, what do we notice about this angle? As the side gets bigger opposite it, the angle also increases. So there must be some way we can use that in maths to find out what the angle is or what the side is. And we can. And that's where sine, cosine, and tan come in. Now often, these letters are used for a missing angle. So this is theta, a Greek letter, and A and B, we know those. But theta is used a lot, so that's what I'll be using today. So they are types, angles. Angles use capital letters. If they don't use theta, they use capital letters to describe it. So you're looking for sine A, it'll be a capital A. Alright, so how does the triangle get labeled? So we can use these ratios. It's the same labels all the time. We look at the angle that the question addresses. The side opposite that angle is called the opposite side. Sometimes just OPP for short, or just the letter O. The side alongside it, down here, is called the adjacent, or A for short, or A. Okay, because alongside is adjacent to, it's beside. Now this long side of the triangle, you should maybe know, is opposite the right angle, and it always stays the same. It is always called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse of the triangle. Usually, we just use the letter H, or H or B. Okay, so it's important we know which side in a right angle triangle has a name. Now, hypotenuse will always stay the same because it's always opposite the right angle. However, these two can switch depending on if you use this angle or this angle up here. If I were using this angle, this side is actually adjacent, and this side would be opposite, so it can switch around. Now, when we're using sine, cos, and tan, they have specific ratios. So ratio would be like a fraction. As one side gets bigger, the other side will stay the same kind of thing. So for sine, we look at the opposite side, and we divide it by the hypotenuse. If we want to find the sine of an angle, we look at the opposite side and divide it by the hypotenuse. For cosine of an angle, you use the adjacent side and also divide it by the hypotenuse. That's the ratio for cosine. And for tan, I use the opposite side and I divide it by the adjacent side. Okay. So we'll get more into those in another lesson. For now, we just need to remember them. Sometimes they use some tricks to remember them. So you will see one in the notes that you can use maybe, but you don't have to. But you will have to remember them for any exam. They usually are not given in formulas and definitely won't be given in the GCSE exam. Okay, so the final thing today is getting that angle when you're given a ratio. Now, the ratio can be given as a decimal like this, or it can be given as a fraction like that, because we know that fractions and decimals can be interchangeable. So for instance, let's do cos an unknown angle is, let's say, 4/5. So that means you have some right angle triangle that has an angle, well, let's use this one up here, theta. This angle has a ratio of its adjacent side, because remember, from here, it's adjacent over hypotenuse, the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. The adjacent to this angle is this side, 4. The hypotenuse is this one, always opposite the right angle, 5. So this is some triangle. So what is that angle? Well, I can do it. So 4/5. Well, if I change it to a decimal, it's 0.8. And then there's a button on the calculator that will help us. If you have one of these calculators like me, it will be Shift Cos. So you should see a cos inverse with the -1. Shift inverse. You press. So try that on your calculator now. If you want to pause the video, then put in 0.8. Close the bracket. Press equals. Now hopefully on your calculator you'll get something 36.869 and so on. That is that angle. So it's no longer cos the ratio, it's no longer the ratio of the sides. We can actually use our calculator to find out what the actual angle is. It is, well, to the nearest degree, round up, it is 37 degrees. So this angle here is 37 degrees. That's kind of cool that we can find out that angle without knowing it beforehand. We just know these two lengths of sides. We can try it for sine as well. If we're given the decimal for sine, we should be able to find it straight away. We press Shift, Sine, 0.67, and you should get, you can try that in your calculator, hopefully you get it quicker than me, you get 42 degrees when I round it off to the nearest degree. If you're not getting these answers, send me an email or we'll check it out in the next Google Hangout we do. So we'll set you some work on this and wait for the next video. Good luck with this. Let me know if you have any questions.